Okay, so here we go. This should be a really quick lesson. We're going to be rewriting quadratics in standard form. So if you notice, the equation is given to me in vertex form, where I could very easily pull out the vertex of negative 3, 3. Remember, you changed the sign there. But instead of doing that, we want to rewrite it in standard form. Now, if you remember, standard form is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. There's no parentheses in it. So basically that means what we need to do is we need to get rid of the parentheses here. How do we get rid of the parentheses if it has a squared on it? Well, what happens is we need to write the parentheses twice, and we'll need to multiply it. So you can either use the box method or the distributive method. I'm going to use the distributive method. So let's see, x times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9. Then I have this plus 3 hanging out at the end. Last step, combine my like terms. So let's see, I have x squared, 3x and 3x is 6x, and then 9 and 3 is 12. Make sure your x squared comes first, and then your basic x, and then your plain number, your constant, so that it's in that ax squared plus bx plus c form. That's it. Now, the only way this gets a little more difficult is when we have a number in front. So let me show you how to deal with that. So when I have a number in front of the parentheses, I'm not going to distribute the number right away. I'm going to deal with having to multiply the parentheses twice first. So I'm going to leave this negative 2 out in front, and I'm going to multiply x plus 2 times x plus 2. And I'm going to leave the minus 3. Now I'm going to do all this multiplying, and then I'm going to distribute the negative 2 to the answer after I'm done multiplying. So I'm leaving the the negative 2. And in here I get x squared plus 2x plus 2x plus 4, close my parentheses because that's the end of the multiplying part, and then this minus 3 is at the end. Now, I could distribute here, but just to make my life a little bit easier, I'm going to combine those like terms first. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 4, and then the minus 3. Now I'm going to distribute that negative 2. So negative 2 times x squared is negative 2x squared. Negative 2 times positive 4x would be negative 8x. Negative 2 times positive 4 would be negative 8. And then I do not distribute to the minus 3 because the minus 3 is not in parentheses. I just tack it on at the end. I'm almost done because I have one more set of like terms to combine. So I'm going to end up with y equals negative 2x squared minus 8x. And then negative 8 and negative 3 is negative 11. Okay. All right, let's try number 3. Leave it there for a minute for those of you that are still writing. Number 3 is very, very similar. So again, I have a number out in front. I'm going to hold off on that number for just a minute while I go ahead and multiply x plus 4 times x plus 4. Then I have a minus 2 hanging out at the end. So I leave that 2 out there. Multiplying here gets me x squared plus 4x plus 4x plus 16, then my minus 2. Before I distribute, I'm going to combine my like terms because I have like terms right there. So that gives me x squared plus 8x plus 16, then my minus 2. Now I distribute that 2. 2 times x squared is 2x squared. 2 times 8x is 16x. And 2 times 16 is 32. And then I still have this minus 2 hanging out at the end. And I have one last set of like terms right there. So my final answer is y equals 2x squared plus 16x plus 30. Not too difficult, I hope. All right, and the last problem like this one, excuse me. This time I don't have a full number there. I just have a negative sign. What does a negative sign mean is actually out there? It actually means there's a -1. So I'm going to treat that -1 just like I treated the 2 here and just like I treated the -2 here. So I'm going to multiply the x plus 3 and x plus 3, and then I have the plus 3 at the end. Lots of 3's in this problem. So I'm not going to deal with the -1 yet. I'm just going to leave it while I multiply these guys. X times x is x squared. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times x is 3x. And then 3 times 3 is 9. And the plus 3 is hanging out at the end. Before I distribute that -1, I'm going to combine those like terms. Plus 6x plus 9 plus 3. Now I can go ahead and distribute that -1. -1 times x squared is -x squared. -1 times positive 6x is -6x. -1 times positive 9 is -9. And then the plus 3 at the end does not get the -1 distributed to it because it's not in parentheses. I'm almost done. I've got one more set of like terms there. -x squared minus 6x, and then -9 and positive 3 is -6. And that's my final answer. So on your homework, you have some problems like this. You also have some problems that say state the orientation of the given quadratic. Now those instructions might not make much sense to you, but really all I want to know is, does the graph open up or down? So how do we know that? We always look at our A value, or the first thing. So there, 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 and there. And if you notice, some of these are in vertex form and some of these are in standard form. Doesn't matter, you're still looking just at that first thing. If that first number is positive, it opens up. If that first number is negative, it opens down. So right here I have a negative number first. So this one opens down. This one I have nothing there, which would be equivalent to a +1. So this one opens up. Then I have a +3 here. That one opens up because it's positive. Negative number here means it opens down. Okay? Go ahead and fill out the remaining 4 problems on your own. Do they open up or down? We have a negative number here. This one should say it opens down. We have another negative number, so this one also opens down. What about this one? There's nothing in front, so it's a positive, which means it opens up. And then finally here I have a +2. Since it's positive, this one also opens up. So this page of notes looks very similar to the first side of your homework. When you turn your homework over, there's just a couple graphs reminding you how to graph, couple in vertex form and a couple in standard form. We're practicing that because later this week you have your test. Happy studying!